Hello, World Civilization 106 class. I just want to say hello, and we'll be starting our class on the 22nd of this month. And right now, I'm not publishing anything else except for this announcement. As soon as possible, I will at least have the syllabus up so you can get an idea of more about the class. And I will also then be publishing announcements explaining as much as I can in detail about expectations of the work and how to do the work, for example, the papers. And so there's just a few things that I wanted to address to help get you all kind of aware, about what to expect, basically. So summer courses, these are cram courses. And I need to remind this to all of you. I can't tell you how many times I get students who, they'll look at the schedule and say, oh, wow, we have 7 weeks. This is great. I can be done with the class in 7 weeks. Not really getting it in their minds that we're doing a normal semester in 7 weeks. We will be averaging around 3 chapters a week. That's a lot of work, okay? That is what you're choosing to do by taking a summer course, which is a cram course. So I want you to make sure that you are in that mindset to do a lot of work. There's no way around this for either of us, okay? I mean, I have to do a lot of work. You all have to do a lot of work. Some of you try to do several summer classes at once. I never recommend that, but I'm not going to be stopping you from doing that. But if you are taking other classes, and this happens to me sometimes, I'll have a student tell me, I'm sorry I didn't do the work. I had to catch up for this anatomy class. No, don't tell me that another class is more important than my class, okay? Don't do that to any professor. That means that you're taking on what you can't do. So I sympathize with those of you who are that ambitious, but I just want to reiterate, you are coming into this with, I expect you to treat this class as a priority, period, okay? And I will work with you. I'm empathetic. I'm understanding, but you need to have that mindset coming in. And the other thing is that to just keep that in mind if you're working a lot. I mean, if you have a significant other and a group of friends, let them know that you're going to be a little busy just for the 7 weeks. Okay, you are going to have to be doing more than usual. Now, what can you expect from me, or what kind of workload? Well, yes, we're doing 3 chapters a week on average. I do not do multiple choice. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to open up the first week's module, and you're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to see lots of videos to watch with lots of notes. You are going to see that we have discussions and lots of papers. You will not be doing multiple choice exams, so you will not have to try to memorize this massive amount of information that's going to get thrown at you, but you do have to do a lot of work. Okay? Now, these papers they're not research papers. You will be required, in fact, it's not that I don't expect, it is a requirement that you do not get outside sources for these papers. You are basically taking your notes, looking at a question that I pose, and you're going to make a direct response using only the information that was covered in my lectures, the textbook, and other videos that are directly coming from this class. That's it. Now, if you're a person that just really can't handle writing, you might want to reconsider being in this class. But you also need to realize that this really, I'm not expecting, my expectations out of what you're producing is more for content than style. Okay. Um, and so I also want to say this. I've been teaching this class for years. In fact, 106 is the first class I ever taught, and I used to teach that in person in a classroom. Um, and we focus on world religion. And in world religion, you're not going to be put in an uncomfortable situation where you're having religion shoved down your throat, or one that you don't believe in. And you may have your own religion that you feel is the truth, or whatever. Or you're an atheist and don't care about religion. The bottom line is what I'm doing is we're going over a lot of world civilizations, and I'm focusing on looking at their religious traditions as an emphasis, because I think it's a topic that most people have like some strong thought on. And so while we're covering many, many, many topics, this is at least something that you can mentally latch on to, right? Like you can have an opinion about in your mind, and it helps you absorb the information. Okay. So having said that, my experience is that when I first start my classes, many people drop because they look at the workload and they feel overwhelmed and then are out. Those who stay often find they're most of the time getting B's and A's, because if you are prepared to do the work, I set you up to have success. There's no tricks. I was a student for many years myself. I know the kind of professors that I didn't like their style of teaching. I know that you guys want something clear and concise, that you can work hard, but you need to know what's expected of you, and that it's a realistic set of expectations. I plan on giving you all the information that you'll need. I'm not going to cover it in this video, so that you have the tools for success. Okay? So I just really want to emphasize that. And then I just also want to address several things. We are in unprecedented times, at least for a long time. I mean, we've just went through this pandemic thing, which officially has not come to an end. And I'm aware that a good chunk of Americans don't even believe in it. I also know Americans who have told me they've lost family members. Officially, the death count is over 100,000. I have friends who don't believe that this is a real. And then I know people, like I said, same thing, that actually are very offended by that position. Well, look, I'm just trying to address right now that the country has been divided along this very issue, and different states have reacted to it in ways that are quite different than other states. So I am living in Portland, Oregon right now, and it's been pretty strict out here, socially and with the government. I work at a place I have to have a mask all day in my other job. That's very common out here. I have friends in other parts of the United States that almost nobody wears masks. In any case, we've had shutdowns, and regardless of what you think or believe or have experienced, the economy is very much a mess. Many of you have been suffering from unemployment or overwork. You might have lost your job, and you may be losing your mind. You might have been going hardcore isolation. This is a very tricky time, and it makes concentrating on classes quite difficult, which I'm aware, as my students were dealing with last semester. Many of you are now doing all online, and you never wanted to do anything online, okay? But now you have to do this. So this is tricky times. And in the middle of all this, we are seeing very huge growing protests and it's also going all over the world right now. And many people have strong, passionate feelings about what's going on, and they do not agree, or it's another part of American life where Americans aren't seeing the same kind of situation in the same way. And this proves to be very challenging, again, for concentrating on school at this time. Now, I want you all to know, I have very strong political beliefs. You'll probably get an idea somewhat from me of what they are. But what I want to do for all of you is make this a safe space for my students, so that regardless of what you think about anything, that you can come here and focus on learning, okay? And I think that this is a very important class because I teach ancient civilizations, but I teach religion. And if you're an educator, if you are going into any of the services, working with the public, if you're working with the public at all, okay, in your job that you plan on doing, you will find this helpful to your career to have an understanding of Islam, of Sikhism, of Hinduism, of Buddhism, and you might, and you should just be enriched to be able to have the strong knowledge. I cover Islam quite thoroughly. My specialty throughout college was really Asia and the Islamic world, a very broad category. But I really think that you're going to find this to be helpful. And while the world is so complicated, I feel like this might help ground you in kind of getting an understanding about how everybody in the world has tried to come to terms with what they perceive to be a lack of justice, or what they expect out of law and order and justice, or life after death, and dealing with any kind of crisis, right? So I'm hoping that it'll actually put us all more in touch with our humanity to understand where we're at. And this isn't just me being some sort of like mushy, like we can all love each other and hug, and we are the world. This is concrete material that will be quite helpful. There's a great saying in Iceland that refers to somebody that is ignorant, and it's called heimsker. Heimsker means from home, literally. You can be naturally intelligent, but you might be ignorant and because you have a lack of perspective. You haven't got out of the house to see something else broader, right? Now, I like this because it's more of an explanation than an insult. It implies the fact that we can have a broader understanding of the world by getting out of our comfort zone and seeing what's out there. And I'm hoping this class will be able to really do that for you. What I want also is for all you to know is that I've been working almost full time at this other job, and I'm going to be scaling back from that so I can really stay focused on this class. So when we go over all these different civilizations and cover all these religions, if you have questions or you have problems about whatever is being discussed, I'm going to do my best to be available to answer you if you write me or call, okay? So I just want to make that clear. I really, I'm here to support all of my students and to make sure that you all are going to be successful despite whatever is going to happen. Let's just try to keep positive. We all do what we need to do to survive and to stand up for what we want to stand up for right now, and at the same time get our education, get through, and finish up getting the grade that you want. So that's what I'm here for. We'll be in touch.